few years back, we hired a camper van and spent 2 weeks on the road exploring the South Island of New Zealand. This was an opportunity afforded to us by incredibly cheap rates due to COVID.
Tourism Holdings Limited are announcing incredibly low deals to hire their camper vans over school holidays and long weekends from just, get this, $29 per day.
This sparked a love affair with this type of travel, which culminated in the purchase of a caravan 2 years later. Now, having owned that caravan for another 2 years and having had many adventures, the time had come to introduce our family to the North Island. We packed up the caravan, got on the ferry and began our epic 4-week and 3,500 kilometre journey touring the North.
I just wanna be with you forever. You know what time it is. We're much brighter than the sun. Getting better all the time. Nothing can ever bring us down.
We hit the road after work and school on the Thursday before Easter, driving up the east coast of the South Island, through Kaikoura, all the way to Momorangi, arriving in the dark. Momorangi is a dock or Department of Conservation campsite, just 30 minutes drive from Picton, where we board the ferry. We decided to stay here for a couple of nights before heading up north. All aboard! It was a great reminder of why we loved the South Island, and it was a good chance to catch up with the grandparents before we set sail. On our second morning, we hit the road at 9 AM, so we could get to Picton on time to check in for our ferry sailing, which was scheduled for 11 AM. The excitement of our family was palpable, but it was mediated somewhat by the lumpy southeasterly swells once we got out into the strait. Wellington turned it on for us when we came into the harbour. As they say, it's hard to beat Wellington on a good day. Our first stop in the north was at my auntie and uncle's place in Levin. They have 5 acres and were generous to host us. Always great to catch up. The next day, we shot across to Clive to visit friends. We obviously had a great time because the camera didn't come out once. Keen to push north as quickly as possible, we went through Napier to check out some of the architecture, then headed back across the island up towards Taupo. We spent a bit of time around Taupo and its surrounds, checking out the Hooker Falls and the lake.
Have a look. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it looks so blue. I like it. Yeah,
I think that's a UFO. Unidentified floating object.
Yeah. A UFO, not.
After checking out Taupo, it was time to head off to our campsite for the night, Omi's cousin's place at the Tihoi Venture School. This is run by St Paul's Collegiate School, an all-boys school based in Hamilton. They send their boys here for a term or two to learn essential skills. Omi's cousin is a teacher here, and so they were able to host us on the land.
Yeah, like that.
Except it's filming.
There you are.
We love giving the kids a chance to connect with friends and family, and it's so good seeing kids be kids.
You're the cameraman, Henry. He's the cameraman! Hi! Okay. Hi, guys! I think it's how to edit now. Right.
Everyone loves the camera, but I tell you what, it's just so good to see the kids running around and having a good time.
Don't shine that. Cloudy on the earth. Cloudy on the... What's your favourite colour? Your favourite cheese?
But it was time to hit the road again, aiming for Tauranga today with the stop at Rotorua along the way. We did all the free stuff at Rotorua, and it was very cool and different for the kids to see. Poor Elsie did struggle with the smell though.
I'm having fun.
Where are you?
What's it called?
Rotorua.
We need to put smell-o-vision on here as well, don't we?
Look at it.
Oh. It's hot, isn't it?
Yeah.
We made it to Tauranga in the late afternoon and got settled in the NZMCA park at Welcome Bay. We had incredible weather in Tauranga, getting those late autumn warm days. We were in the ocean, just enjoying the sun and the beautiful temperatures.
Through a hole, and it's like that.
Show me.
This is the avocado tree at my brother's place in Tauranga. So good to get some fresh avos. Once again, we had a great time catching up with family in Tauranga, and so the camera didn't make it out.
Yes.
After 2 nights, it was back on the road, punching it up to Auckland.
Alright, now get your instruments out and play them.
Unfortunately, we didn't time our driving very well. We spent nearly 2 hours in Auckland traffic getting up to Shakespare Park on the Whangaruru Peninsula. But finally, we made it to the serenity of Shakespare Park. Shakespare Park is an Auckland regional park at the end of the Whangaruru Peninsula. It cost us a whopping $21 a night to stay here.
Are we over there?
It's a predator-free sanctuary, so we were treated to kiwi calls at night.
This is awesome, Mose.
Round the
But our march northward had to continue, so it was back on the motorway, heading up north. Due to some roadworks on the Brindlewinds, we got diverted through Waipu Cove. It made for some full-on traffic on a poor quality road, but at least we got to stop at Waipu Cove.
Hey,
I know a magic trick. Look.
we're gonna go.
Wait.
We're gonna go to a camp now, Else. What the?
But our aim for today was to make it to Uretiti Beach. We must have passed this 30 times when we lived in Northland, but we never got the chance to stop in. Now that we have a DOC annual pass, that made sense for us to stay here on our way out. Uretiti Beach is a beautiful white sand beach that stretches for kilometres in either direction. It has these wonderful sand dunes that the kids could spend hours playing on. There's also really good fishing to be had here, not that I did any. And the campground is massive, so there's plenty of space to stay.
You're good? You go, mate.
We also bumped into the leopards here, a New Zealand family that are full-time on the road. Look them up, Leopards Go Wild, on YouTube to watch their adventures. Mike and I chewed the fat on all things caravanning.
Whoa. Oh look, we created a sandfall, not a waterfall, a sandfall. Look at me. It's a sandfall, not a waterfall.
We continued north, with our next stop being at Autamure Bay, also known as Whananaki campsite. This is another dock site. It was good to be up north now, and even though the weather wasn't great, it was warm, so the kids were happy to make their own fun down on the beach.
It isn't. Oh yeah.
I didn't fall in. Hit me. Dad, you're wearing your sandals incorrectly.
We heard that there were kiwi nearby, so with daylight savings having just ended, it was a good excuse to stay up a bit later and go for a nighttime bush walk to see if we could find any. No luck this time. Once again, it was time to hit the road, but not before checking out the longest footbridge in the southern hemisphere.
Right, about the school. Wow, Cohen previously looked at the school teacher role.
This time, we were off to the dock camp at Whangaruru, also known as Puriri Bay. It was fantastic to get some time on the water while the weather held out. Once again, the beach provided an endless playground for the kids. And we had another crack at spotting some kiwi, but good luck getting that on your camera. However, Omi did see one just as we were returning to camp. Our next stop was Paihia, which meant we had to take the ferry.
Great, you want photo? There we go. Tricky.
Oh, sorry.
So I've got Cohen and Lockie here, and this isn't your typical holiday shot, because what we've got here is the hospital where Cohen was born, and so this is part of the reason why we've come here, to show this boy where he's from. So we'll go for a little walk.
We lived in Northland about 10 years ago, but moved back to Christchurch before Cohen had even turned 1. So this was one of the reasons we wanted to come back, to show Cohen where he was from,
Here's the
and the town where he was born, Kawakawa.
It does. Right.
Kawakawa is famous for two things. One,
That's quite
the
cool, eh?
railway line that runs through the middle of the road,
Yeah.
and two, its toilets, which were designed by a famous local artist called Hindenwasser. The town has since built a tribute to Hindenwasser in the form of their new local library.
Let's go. Awesome. That's great.
found a great little pop or park over property in Paihia where we could stay the night. So we jumped on the vehicle ferry and took it over to Russell. For anyone that hasn't been to Russell before, it's famous because it's New Zealand's first capital. It actually used to be not such a great place in the early days of settlement and colonialism, but now it's a really beautiful spot and well worth spending a day there. After dinner, we took the kids down to the local Anglican church, which has been there for nearly 180 years. One of the cool things that you can see here is some bullet holes from back in the day when somebody got a little bit loose with the gun.
Point to it. Point to it.
Now it was time to jump back on the ferry and get back to Paihia to stay the night. And then we were off again. We were on the road again, this time heading up to the beautiful Matai Bay, or Maitai Bay, depending on which dialect you're referring to. This was the #1 spot on our list when we were heading up to Northland. However, this time we didn't get to see it at its absolute best, but it was still great to be there. Matai Bay as a launch pad to explore the absolute top of the North Island. We went all the way to Cape Reinga and went to the Tipaki sand dunes on the way back down.
How was that?
Unfortunately, our second day and night at Matai Bay was wet and windy. The forecast was for some more stormy and wet weather to come through. So we decided to pack up early and head for Kerikeri. We based ourselves at the golf club where we could stay for $20 a night with access to showers and toilets. Kerikeri is where we lived when we were in Northland 10 years ago. It was great to be back again and we made a point of catching up with all the many friends that we'd made when we were there. One of our friends let us stay at their batch in Autamure Bay and wow, what a place.
How was the sea biscuit? Good. Was it scary? A little bit.
Golden hour was just sublime and we could not believe how warm we had it in mid-April.
This is the relax mode.
Relax mode.
Relax
We didn't even have Autamure Bay on our itinerary at the start of the trip, but it became the absolute highlight of our time away. There's something about time spent on the beach. For the children to be able to have the freedom to do whatever they want, to play around and make their own fun. These are the aspects that make this kind of travelling really incredible.
The postie. He's got a cool truck. Hey, we've got some letters to post.
Well, in typical Northland style, we're out in the beating hot sun, and then in a matter of seconds it turned into this, and I've had to retreat into the car to find shelter. Hiniapua, you've done it again.
We really made the most of our time at Itinerary. It was so good to have a bit more space to stretch our legs than just the usual caravan. So thanks Mike and Ange for letting us stay here. We'll pay you back somehow, sometime.
How's this for yummy dinner, Cohen?
Yeah.
How's this for yummy pizza dinner? Up on the deck,
Good.
above the caravan, with the beach off in the distance. What do you say, Cohen?
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers, Elsie. Cheers.
Cheers. Good on.
Finally, we had to say goodbye to Itinerary. It was time to stop northbound travel and to start heading south again. We were back in Kerikeri, this time opting for the NZMCA park so we could make the most of our Rainbow Falls track. So without letting the kids know that we were within 30 seconds walking distance of the top of Rainbow Falls at the NZMCA park, we drove them down to the bottom of the Rainbow Falls track and began the walk.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
Fluffy, eh?
It's a bit of a must-do if you ever find yourself in Kerikeri.
Well, here we are on the beautiful Kerikeri Rainbow Falls walkway. We've got Elsie and Omi up the front there, and then somewhere back there are the boys. And I thought I'd just do a quick head walk and talk since I haven't done much of this on this trip. So we've just spent 3 nights in Ngaere Bay. I'm going to stay tonight in Kerikeri and then back down to Uretiti Beach the night after, and then down into Auckland after that. But it's been a really lovely time, and we've had some really lovely sunny weather over the last few days, which has been long awaited. Anyway, I'll show you some shots of Wharepuki Falls and Kerikeri Rainbow Falls in a minute.
We also managed to squeeze in the treaty grounds, which if you're in the area, it's well worth the visit. Once again, we were on the road heading down south to Uretiti Beach once more. However, this time we were much more fortunate with the weather. Now they call it the Winterless North, and I don't know about that. However, I have to admit, being able to swim at the end of April without any wetsuit in the ocean, that's pretty impressive by New Zealand standards.
Alright, you ready? Oh, look at this one! Well, we're all packed up here at Uretiti. See that behind, latched on, ready to go. Just going to go pick up the kids and Naomi from the beach. And this marks our last day in Northland after arriving 2 weeks ago. And we're heading off down south, and 1 week from now we'll be getting on the ferry at Wellington. And it's been really nice to finish our Northland trip with such lovely weather and such a beautiful location. So we're really stoked that we've come up here and shown our family where we used to live.
It was quite hard leaving Northland, and hitting Auckland is a very stark reminder that you are properly out of the north. However, we did still have more than a week ahead of us before we returned home, so we tried to quickly turn our attitude around and make the most of what we still had to come. So we were back at Shakespare Park once again, but enjoying different parts of it that we didn't get to last time. We spent a lovely couple of nights in Shakespare Park, spending the day catching up with family in Silverdale, hence the camera not coming out much. But the southward journey continued with the next stop at Taupo.
It's a really beautiful morning in Taupo this morning, but it was cold last night and we had the heater on because we had a powered site here that we had to pay a whopping $10 for per night, so that was pretty good value. But it does feel like the holiday is on a bit of a wind down, and a big thing happened this morning. I put shoes and socks on for the very first time since we got to Tauranga, so it's been basically 3 weeks of jandals, and now the shoes and socks come back on as we head south and autumn asserts itself. So we're going to pack up here now, and then we'll head off to Taranaki in New Plymouth, and the kids are amusing themselves while I get everything sorted. Here we go.
We continued down the Taranaki coast towards New Plymouth, where we caught up with some more of Omi's family and checked out what there was on offer. We met Omi's family at the zoo in New Plymouth, and who would have thought that they've got a capybara there? Lockie was beyond excited to see this. It was a great way to catch up with people and spend a couple of hours in the sunshine.
Oh, there he is.
Where? Oh yeah.
Good night.
We then went for a bit of a wander around Pukekura Park. It really took me back to my childhood because we came to New Plymouth to drop my brother off here when he was starting Polytechnic.
Would you like to come here?
I might even be able to find some old footage from back in the day. you appreciated those cast backs. Before we headed away to our night's accommodation, we just wanted to check out the Te Rewa Bridge as well. We stayed the night at Omi's cousin's place, and then the next day we head off down to Plymouth. We've just stopped in Paihia, which is where the sculpture is behind us, for lunch, and we're about to leave the Taranaki district, heading down to Wellington today, and then we're going to stay 2 nights in Wellington before we hit the ferry. Some fizz for everyone. Alright, who's ready for some fox and fizz? Okay. Okay, I have 1 raspberry.
Thank you, Daddy.
1 lime.
Thank you.
1 lemonade. And a cola for mum and dad.
Say fox and fizz! We pulled into Plymouth, our last North Island destination. The plan was to catch the train into Wellington and spend a bit of time exploring our capital. It was cool to see the sights of Wellington, see all those bits and pieces that you often see on the news, and give the kids a little bit of a sense of place of where the capital city is. But oh my goodness, was it blowing that day. Hey! Walking into the wind! Walking into the wind! While at Te Papa, we visited the Gallipoli exhibition, a must-see if you're in Wellington. But all good things must come to an end. It was time to get back on the ferry and sail back to the South Island. Oh, those look like hectares. Those are hector dolphins, aren't they? We arrived quite late in the day and drove off just as the sun was setting, but we smashed it all the way down to Kaikoura, where we spent the night. We set off nice and early, and we really felt welcomed back to the South Island by those brilliant blue skies and that lovely sun that we get so much of around autumn.
We
So we're just about home. It's only about 45 minutes for us to drive to get home, and after an epic 4 weeks on the road, we're finally back in Canterbury. So I've stopped at this place called Coppard Reserve in Leithfield Beach. There's the van behind me there, and we're having our lunch here before we head home. And it's nice to see the South Island turning on its good old-fashioned sun, which we often get this time of year. So it's been nice to come home to that. Funny though, there is a bit of a nip in the air for sure. We feel that, but it is nice to be home nonetheless. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed coming along on our adventure, and let's see what else happens from here. There's the remnants of today's dinner, and I'll tell you what, this whole trip has been the trip of feijoas. We've followed the feijoa season around the whole nation of New Zealand. It's been delicious the whole way, but time to let them go for another season.
Finally, we were back home, and it felt exciting to be back after such a long time away. What a wonderful 4 weeks it's been. It was such a joy to show our kids so much of the North Island, a place we don't live in and don't see much of. We loved catching up with friends and family, many of whom we hadn't seen for many years. It feels like we've managed to keep a lot of those relationships going when sometimes they fade into oblivion. We've had a great time, and although this journey is over, who knows what will come next.